We were met along the way by this this man called Colonel Ajiman, who was introduced to us as their boss. He wouldn't listen to anything. I tried to get his attention so that we can have a better understanding. He just walked off and also insisted that we should not follow, and that in his
Lieutenant Colonel Ajiman. So he didn't even have a chat with you?
No.
He wouldn't listen to you?
No. And so I said, and you heard me say, that I can understand that you are security guys and you are doing your work, but just take note that we are also media men who will do our work. But guess what? Today, when you are done doing your work, we will have a field day doing our work for a very long time, and you can't stop us.
But he still left. So that's when he went with Zoe and Caleb to the narration.
So when he left, we were minded to go beyond him
and call people
and call other people up the chain. And Edward Asmani responded to us. So
that's your savior.
That was my
and then I would need to make this point. You see, governments in, governments out should understand how to package our security system, because nobody, and you don't need rocket science to know that today you are in power, tomorrow you are not in power. And the security system you establish while you are in power is the same security system you may fall victim to. We were hoping that 20, 30 years down the line, this primitive way of handling journalists and so-called suspects would have changed. And I thank God for so many very educated, in fact, very educated is an understatement. You know, as many highly educated gentleman, Oxford graduate, he has everything. And he was so decent. I mean, the guy was so decent.
When you spoke to him, did he know what had been? Did you get the impression he knew?
He said he had been informed, but he didn't have the details. So he made a call to somebody, and I could hear him speaking to the person, kind of briefed me what was going on.
So it means that he probably wasn't aware of what was happening.
Of course. I mean, at his level, he wouldn't have to be told everything like that, And I'm telling you that what they do is that they delay so they can have a field day with their suspects. You understand? And I'm hearing for the first time how he was beaten.
So you didn't even know, because I thought that when the man in suit came, that was the end of the problem. But apparently it was...
No, so when eventually I demanded that I had to see him before I leave, at which point they led me to where he was, and I called you out of the place. The man actually said in my presence that, the inmates are beating him and he doesn't want anybody to touch him again. So in front of me, he shouted across to the inmates that, Obi Odin is something kanopa, member Chinese, bokufu. So the man was tricking me. He looked at me. And
so that was when you realized that this is a serious...
So I said, okay, don't worry. Let's deal with Zoe. We'll come back and deal with, So went out and had a meeting with Asmani again. And I mean, I was just saying, so once the others see reason like you do, it makes your work difficult. If we are still practicing this primitive way of security, just body checking and beating people physically.
So did they actually talk to you to say what's going on? Or they were... Nobody...
I mean, Bernard, the kind of people there, even if he explained, they won't understand. And that's my man, he's such a disappointment to national security. Such a disappointment. He won't listen to anything, and he was kicking him in the groin. Are you okay? Who does that in 2021?
A wicked person.
A journalist, properly identified as a journalist. Yes, he may have done something inappropriate, but that's the court. If people do things wrong, they are processed for court. You don't go kicking his groin in the name of national security. In 2-3 years' time, this Ajiman guy will go on retirement, and God will judge you and your family. You will see. This thing, we shouldn't allow these things to happen. When we were fighting for this democracy, Ajiman, where were you Today, you call yourself national security and come and be kicking people.
Summons. 143 Queenslaw. Hey, Summons. Summons, my bad. 143 Queenslaw. Hey. Oh boy. Summons. Abutreo. Ghana, when you Abutreo to Hey. I mean, Summons didn't even want to. I refer to him as a gentleman. He said, this gentleman, he said, oh, sorry, this man, you know, it is a shame. It is a real shame. And it is so pathetic. It is just below civilized societies. Below Ghana 2021. Come on. And we have national security operative, national security outfit treating suspects in such inhumane manner. How? Why? In 2021, it is just not acceptable. And this thing must not stop until this foolishness is stopped. We cannot keep quiet until this so called National Security Council and the people that are there, they get reorientation. They have to change their attitude. That is why when those people talking about, they are going quiet now, talking about people should change their attitude, people to change. You don't know how civilized societies and organized societies and progressive societies, they are engineered and they function. People don't change their attitude. It is those who are privileged to be in leadership positions across board who put up the right attitude, and the people will follow suit because they are given the power, they are privileged to be in power, they are privileged to be entrusted with the power of the people to serve them. And that include enforcing of laws fairly, not bullying, not intimidation, not doing things anyhow, not behaving as if they are above the law, not selective justice, not all this kind of crap that goes on in 2021. And unfortunately, that is the saddest bit. Under the executive presidency of someone who put his life on the line in the 80s, right from the late 70s crowd, through the 80s, put his life on the line to fight for human rights and abuse of power under military regimes. And he becomes president, and under his watch, this same foolishness goes on. It is extremely disappointing. And these are some of the things that people expect Nanado himself to make an open statement when they happen. Because if he were in the 80s and late 70s, from the mid 70s to the late 70s and the 80s, if these things were happening to ordinary people, Nanado will be out there giving a press statement, speaking and condemning it in public, and leading the charge to make the whole world see that this cannot go on. But you are the president. These things happen and you keep quiet. You don't show that you are completely disgusted, and you don't make a public spectacle to send the right signal and message across board, across all security operatives and people who you appoint to take charge of national security, that this nonsense and inhumane treatment of other citizens who are just suspects cannot continue. Why do you keep quiet? What has happened to that Nanado that put his life on the line for these same nonsense that happened years ago, decades ago, must come to an end? You repealed laws that give security agencies the powers or the freedom to act anyhow. Criminal libel law was repealed. Something like that. So why do you look on when you Attorney General, when MPP came to power, when you were fresh, when you were really fresh, when you were where we say you have some strong convictions and the courage to push those convictions, but over the years, most of you have been compromised. You have been diffused into the canker of lack of strong convictions. The disease that affected a lot of people who go into politics in Ghana, that they don't hold any strong convictions. Not only that, the courage to express them, to make sure that the right things are done, because you are in privileged positions. Not everybody gets a chance to be around the political corridors of power and hold power to do things for the people, ordinary people. So show that you went into politics with some strong convictions and cardinal principles. And those strong convictions guide those principles with the courage to make sure, say, people do the right thing. Nanado, you have another 3 years to prove your critics otherwise and to prove people who had hope in you that you can make a difference. This lackadaisical attitude of leadership is not right. It's not serving the interest of anyone. It is just like we're going backwards under you. These things were happening under, I mean, I'm not saying this is not new, but everyone expects, under your leadership, no, things will be different. That is a disappointment of a lot of people, even core supporters of MPP. Who are you listening to? Nanado Dankwe Akufo Addo. Who are you listening to? If you are not listening to the right people, go down there and listen to ordinary people. Because it looks like the people around you, they are not telling you the truth. Samis, I know his lineage is towards MPP, right? And for him to be talking like this shows that he's disappointed. In fact, under the NDC, Samis was arrested for some very silly reason as well by BNI or National Security. And he came out and said they didn't touch him, but probably they touched him, but he didn't want to say it, you know. He's been there before. So probably that's why he's really, really annoyed and he's getting emotional about it. And if you listen to the Zoe girl and you listen to the way that Ken Abwaji was behaving, if you don't let me get angry before I change my mind. Come on, who do you think you are? You think we are under military rule or we are in the jungle or something like that? You change your mind. You take the law into your own house and do any bullshit or crap that you want just because you can intimidate the young lady. Meanwhile, what you're doing is illegal. You're asking the young lady to delete everything on her phone. Why? For what reason? For what reason? You don't even have the power to do that. It's illegal. It's against the law. Have you secured a court or a judge warrant to do that? These are basic things that Nanado, when you hear of it, the way I am incensed, you should be as well as the president, as the human right advocate that you are. Where are all those principles that you held so dear to your heart, that you put your life on the line in the late 70s, through the 80s, until we finally arrive at this so-called Fourth Republic democratic dispensation that has been galloping? It's still on spaghetti legs because all this crap is going on. What is going on in Ghana? Anyway, Nana Addo Akufo Addo, fix messy Ghana. God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation greater and stronger. Mosomfo Waikeni. I am the leader of CPAG, Common Purpose Alliance Ghana. And I am the head of IVA, Independent Voters Alliance, a subsidiary of CPAG. We'll get there. We're going to do our best to try and speak truth to power. Say things as they are, call things by their proper name. We're not going to insult. Insult is for people, low-minded people who cannot make strong arguments. The sort of insults that goes on there on social media, it's not right. I'm going to show passion. I'm going to show maturity to ask people who are privileged. You are privileged to be in leadership position in Ghana. Appeal to your conscience to screw your heads on your neck properly, with all due respect, and start thinking on your feet and fix messy Ghana. God bless us all.
Seria